Buying luxury fashion to look rich is actually one of the biggest style mistakes you can make, and the most elegant women in the room usually know that. Here are the 6 affordable brands they are quietly buying instead. Number 6. Mango. Most women spend years trying to crack the expensive look code, and the answer has been sitting in the mall the whole time. Mango rarely gets the credit it deserves, but the brand has quietly built one of the strongest reputations for polished, affordable dressing. The secret is not a mystery either. Mango consistently invests in shape, proportion, and structure, and those 3 things do more for your appearance than any designer label ever could. Look at the blazers, and you will notice something. The lines are sharp, the cuts are clean, and nothing looks like it came from a fast fashion rack. A well-cut blazer, most of them sitting between $80 and $180, can transform the most basic outfit into something that looks considered and refined. The color choices also work in the brand's favor. Instead of loud seasonal prints and obvious branding, the collections lean heavily into cream, black, navy, and warm neutrals, the kinds of colors that naturally photograph as expensive and slot effortlessly into a capsule wardrobe. Fashion editors often point to Mango as a strong, luxury-for-less option. And when you can pick up a well-structured coat for around $120 to $300, it is not hard to see why the brand keeps winning that argument. From clean tailoring to something more curated, the next brand shifts the entire mood. Number 5. And other stories. Some brands sell you a jacket, others sell you a version of yourself you actually want to be, and that is the gap and other stories fills. The brand exists somewhere between the high street and the designer floor, and that in-between position is exactly why it works. It is elevated enough to feel considered, but accessible enough that you do not need to think twice before adding something to your cart. What keeps stylish women coming back is the level of detail the brand puts into its collections. These clothes feel curated rather than produced. The silhouettes are graceful, the colors stay understated, and nothing ever feels like it is trying too hard, which, if you pay attention to fashion, is the hallmark of genuinely expensive style. And Other Stories performs best in dresses, blouses, tailoring, and leather accessories. A leather bag here typically lands between $120 and $250, which is a fraction of what comparable pieces cost at the designer level. Fashion writers consistently point out that the brand produces items with a level of refinement that feels out of step with the price tags, and they mean that as a compliment. There is a distinct European feel that is hard to explain, but easy to notice. The restraint in the design, the clean proportions, and the absence of flashy logos all add up to something that reads as expensive without announcing it. That level of polish is strong, but Arket takes simplicity even further, stripping everything back to pure intent. Number 4. Arket. First impressions of Arket can be a little underwhelming, and that is exactly the point. The brand does not dress to impress at first glance. It dresses to last, to layer, and to still look right 3 years from now. That approach comes directly from Scandinavian design culture, where the goal has never been to dazzle. It has always been to get things exactly right and then leave them alone. What draws women with serious style to Arket is its focus on building a wardrobe rather than filling one. The collections are designed around staples, tailored trousers, structured shirts, quality knitwear, and outerwear that work across seasons. A wool coat can reach $500, but the cost per wear makes it feel very different. Materials matter here more than most brands at this price range. Arket uses wool, linen, and organic cotton across its collections, and those fabrics sit differently on the body, drape more elegantly, and age far better than synthetic alternatives. That is a large part of why the brand carries such a calm, elevated feel, even on the most understated pieces. The palette stays in soft neutrals and muted tones, and the overall effect feels intentional rather than minimal for minimalism's sake. Everything looks considered without looking effortful, and that quiet confidence is exactly what the brand delivers. That restraint works, but Massimo Dutti sharpens it with a more tailored, more refined edge. Number 3. Massimo Dutti. Massimo Dutti shares a parent company with Zara, and most people who find that out are genuinely surprised. They feel like they exist in completely different worlds. Zara moves at speed, reacts to trends in weeks, and makes clothes that feel current for a season. Massimo Dutti operates on an entirely different philosophy, slower, more controlled, and built around the kind of dressing that does not need a trend to justify it. That difference shows up immediately in the fabrics. Linen, wool, suede, and structured cotton are the materials this brand works with, and those choices alone create an appearance that reads as expensive regardless of the price tag. A blazer here typically runs from $150 to $300, but it is the kind of piece that sits in your wardrobe for years and still looks right every time. Stylists often call it the grown-up Zara, and that label fits. The collections feel mature and intentional, coats that hang correctly, tailored separates that work in the office and outside it. Nothing is aggressive or overcomplicated, and the whole wardrobe sensibility leans toward calm sophistication rather than seasonal noise. If that already feels elevated, the next brand pushes refinement into something even more effortless. Number 2. Sézanne. Sézanne does not just sell clothes, it sells a feeling, and that feeling is Paris on a Tuesday morning when no one is trying. The brand has built its entire identity around effortless elegance, and the consistency of that vision is part of what makes it so effective. Whether you are looking at knitwear, a silk blouse, or a tailored coat, everything communicates the same idea: thoughtful, feminine, and comfortable enough in itself that it never looks overdressed. The Parisian wardrobe concept sounds like marketing until you wear it. These clothes are designed to look lived in rather than just worn. The textures feel considered, the silhouettes are soft without being shapeless, and the overall effect is that polished without trying quality that is genuinely difficult to manufacture at any price point. A dress here usually sits between $140 and $250, expensive enough to feel intentional, but nowhere near what the aesthetic suggests. Natural materials, wool, cotton, and silk appear throughout the collections, and that commitment keeps the clothing grounded in quality rather than trend. These are pieces built to last beyond the season that launched them, which is a big part of why the brand has developed such a loyal following among women who shop with care. The aesthetic stays consistently calm. Soft colors, subtle detailing, and silhouettes that work across years rather than just across months. That restraint is the core of the brand's appeal, and it is exactly what gives the clothes their rich, understated feel. From that Parisian softness, the final brand takes restraint and turns it into pure precision. Number 1. COS. COS may be the clearest example of what it actually means to look expensive without spending luxury money. There are no logos, no embellishments, and no attempt to grab attention. Instead, the brand builds everything around architectural silhouettes, precise tailoring, and a design philosophy that treats proportion as the most important element in any outfit. That restraint mirrors exactly what the most respected high-end fashion houses have always done, and the prices reflect none of that pedigree. The aesthetic sits closest to brands like The Row, Jill Sander, and Max Mara, which is remarkable when you compare the price points. A wool coat from COS runs between $250 and $450. A similar-looking piece from those designer houses can cost 4 or 5 times more, and the visual gap is often far smaller than that price difference would suggest. The design logic is worth understanding. Shape matters more than decoration, fit outweighs trend, and proportion carries more visual weight than any logo ever could. That is why even a $35 t-shirt from COS can anchor an outfit that reads as genuinely expensive. COS proves that looking expensive is about what you leave out, not what you pile on. Looking expensive comes down to tailoring, proportion, fabric, and restraint, not loud brands. Subscribe for more, and comment the next brand.